Happy Tuna Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back. It is time for another Pounds for Purrs workout. Today was a squat day, and I did a 10x5, well, sort of, I'll get back to that later, but 10x5 with 250 pounds and 90 seconds of rest in between. For my priming movement, I decided to go with the drop snatch and just kept it really comfortable, so triples with 45 pounds, 55 pounds, and then you'll see 65 pounds on this next one. When it comes to my technique primers, especially for the squat, I have some that I can choose from, and they really all more or less accomplish the same thing, getting my lower body warmed up and my central nervous system ready to go, so it gets it firing, so that when I do start my primary mover, in this case squats, that I'm just a little bit more ready to go than, let's say, just walking in and doing squats and going from there, just kind of warming up and going from there. And I do prefer it over a cardio warm-up. Not that there's anything wrong with a cardio warm-up. I do like to have some movement specificity when it comes to my technique primers, and that's kind of the whole point, is that you use a movement, and especially an explosive one, in order to get things going. So that's why you always go very light. Sometimes if you're going heavy on your primary exercise, maybe start to go a little bit heavier to get prepared. But other than that, I always keep it very light, very conservative with primers. Now, for squats, pretty decent day. I didn't go for anything special or unique other than just to kind of get in the groove and hit depth. So in those regards, I'm absolutely satisfied with these sets. And I was a little nervous just because it was raining during the warm-ups. So sometimes that can really zap my energy and my drive and my focus. So it's good that it didn't, because it easily could have. I easily could have just started doing my working sets and then all of a sudden lost all motivation to work out. And that has happened in the past. It's a drag when it does, but for me, sometimes when it's storming outside, it just has an effect on me, both physically and mentally. So thankfully today was not one of those times, and I was able to get through all my working sets pretty comfortably too. I mean, we are talking 250 pounds, so still going sub-max weights, but these days it's just been a bit of a journey, to say the least, to get my strength back. After such a long break from being in a weight room, I have noticed my strength has really decreased, and I'm sure there are a lot of people all around the world, in fact, who can relate. So strength will take longer. My conditioning has come back faster, so I'm better conditioned than I was during quarantine, and that's only going to keep getting better. But especially strength, it just takes longer, and for me, I've really been feeling that with the overhead press. So strength, not anywhere near where it used to be, but hey, this is going to be all about that track, all coming back to it, and eventually getting to the point where I'll start to lift heavy again. But for the time being, I'm happy to do a mix of strength, but also really working on conditioning, which I really needed more than anything else. Now, I was scheduled to do 10 sets. However, I actually did 11 sets. And part of that comes down to the Wi-Fi, whether it's my phone or whether the gym Wi-Fi. And so recording sets was behind, so I just wanted to make sure I got at least 10, and I ended up with 11, and I'm okay with that. Now, I do want to give a shout out to a woman who was working out nearby. She was doing barbell movements. She did a squat as well. Her form and her technique were pretty good, and then she did some accessory movements off to the side with a pre-weighted barbell, and I think she may have also done a little bit with kettlebells. But I always like to recognize that, because it's not very often that I see good form and technique, and especially when people try to go heavy or what's heavy to them. And even if you're just squatting the bar, I would like to see, as a trainer, proper form and technique, and then we could talk about trying different programs, different sets and rep schemes, different intensity levels. But at the very base, you just want to make sure you're doing things correctly, and that's important. That's very important to me. And when it came to my accessory movement, just went with my Snatch Grip Deadlift, and I decided to go heavier today, so I pushed it a bit more. And I did a warm-up with 135, 185, and then 225 for 5. And I did that just without straps. And then for 275, I did 3 working sets of 5, and I did put the straps on just because when I get heavier with those, they tend to dig into my hands. So I usually like to strap up for those. Alright guys, thank you so much. Hope you're having a good one. And remember, adopt, don't chop.